in the vaudeville. They had real talent.
Speaking of funny podcast.
Not this young stuff you had today. You call it funny. Speaking of funny.
So what should the clubs do? Should the clubs hire more security? Are they responsible in any kind of way? Like who is responsible for the comedian when he or she is on stage?
I think that's what the club has insurance for. You know, just like in case the club catch on fire or, you know what I'm saying, something like that. I think that they should have proper insurance for stuff like that. If it got to be hazard insurance or whatever. I think when certain comedians get to a certain level, just like rappers and stuff, at some point you can't, when you reach a certain level, you are no longer a regular person. Right. And you literally need to have like Secret Service type of security around you. You know what I'm saying? You can't go and get your own milk no more. You can't go to the mailbox and grab your mail. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, when you go to work, you know what I'm saying? You got to have the same thing. So I think you have to have your own security, your own team with you, your own entourage with you. People that you know that he ain't your security guard ain't gonna be talking to hoes in the background and now you know what I'm saying, somebody gonna rush you and he up to, yeah, baby girl, what's your IG? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just distracted or something like that. And then and I think it's up to the clubs who hire us, who book us, to have adequate security too, making sure that they're you know, paying attention to, you know, patting everybody down properly. And you know how many times I've gone into the club and I don't have anything. I don't have no weapons, but I like to sneak booze in the club if I need, you know, like I don't do it for me. I do it for my friends, whatever. And so I'll have like the little shots and stuff. Like I'll have keep in my purse and I will literally distract the bouncer from fully doing his job. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm like, doing my little gift. My sister, she thinks it's a gift that I have that I can do that. But, you know, just that little thing can distract somebody from doing their job. So, you know, just make sure that the club owners are doing what they're supposed to do and you know, not being negligent. Because when they don't, then, you know, it's somebody's fault that man was able to get a what was it, Sonny?
Kind of gun knife looking.
Yeah, it was a gun-shaped knife.
Yeah, a gun-shaped knife. Which way we decided that it obviously came from Spencer's or a store like Spencer's. Yeah. Because where else would you even buy? Yeah. Where else would you even buy such a thing from? You know.
I was gonna say I don't think G Wade was here when we was talking about the fact that he went to the side where the steps are, which is where I would think you would keep your security. So they had to beat dude up pretty bad just to make up for the fact that he got to Dave in the first place. Because he didn't hop the barricade, the stage, and nothing. That man ran right up the side where the steps are. So, but like Bella's saying, like for us, if somebody runs up on stage, it's random happenstance. It's not because we're big and somebody wants to make a name out of us. It's just somebody was mad that night or whatever. So clubs aren't really concerned with regular comedian safety. But if you are a superstar comedian and you have your own security detail, like she said, they need to be focused on making sure
one thing only. Yeah. Dave only had one job to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, whoever Dave should hire or should fire them all. I don't care how bad they beat dude. Dave should still fire all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's his cousins. I don't care who it is. Let me tell you this. When I performed at the Laughing Skull one time, right? And a guy was heckling. He heckled everybody, but in his defense, he was clearly drunk. You know what I'm saying? He was clearly drunk, but and he sat in the front row and he was a target for every comedian. Like at Laughing Skull, there's literally 19 comedians that go up. And I was like number 15 or something. So that meant 14 comedians laid into this guy every single time. Well, at least 12 comedians laid into this guy every single time they went upstage. It was just boom, 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 boom. And he was drinking on top of that, right? And so he's trying to go back and forth with them, but he's staggering. Anyway, they asked the man to leave. Now, mind you, I personally feel like the club was at fault in this situation because number one, they're supplying the alcohol and they're supplying the ridicule, you know, the embarrassment. So they're fueling the flames. So they asked this man to leave. They kick him out their club. And now he's onto the busy street. And what does he do? He punches the first person he sees in the face. Wow. A black woman.
Yeah.
A black woman who ain't had nothing to do with nothing. Who was just man.
No, I'm listening. Wow.
Oh, yeah. So a black woman who ain't had nothing to do with nothing, who was just man her business, just, whatever. And she probably was at the restaurant or something, but she's man her business. All of a sudden, some drunk man who got hit, who been getting hammered on, you know what I'm saying, who got roasted for about 13, 12 different people for an hour, which, it was like a accumulation of too much. And then they kicked this man off on the street and boom, it just manifested to this poor woman. Dang. So who's at fault here? You know what I'm saying? Obviously the woman. Who's the real victim? You know what I'm saying? I instantly felt bad for the man because, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like damn, it was just a bad day. He could have been you know what I'm saying? And then he was like a pilot. They ended up finding out he's a pilot. Somebody found. So yeah, so the audience and the comedians were actually finding out all of this stuff in the midst of my show. So by the time I came up, all of that stuff had happened. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh my God, that guy, he just punched somebody in the face. And then the police came and they found out, oh, he's a pilot, blah, blah, blah. And just like, what the hell? So yeah, so we were able to talk about that, that stuff on stage. And but it's crazy. But I was thinking about the whole time, like, it's Laughing Skull's fault. You know what I'm saying? So if I was that lady, I would give me a hell of an attorney, and I would sue the gentleman who, the pilot who punched me in the fucking face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I would sue the establishment that got the man loaded. You know what I'm saying? And then put him in an environment that he's now hostile or whatever. So I don't know, but that's my whole thing. So I do think the clubs are responsible for that.
Would that be the same as like a bar who keeps serving the guy all night and clearly 3 sheets to the wind? Mm-hmm. And then they say, all right, buddy, and let him go home or let him leave the spot. And he gets in his car and
same thing.
Car crash. Yep. Yeah. So it's the bar's fault, it's the club's fault in a sense.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Do you guys agree? So do you agree? Disagree?
On one hand, I feel like it's hard to blame the club itself because they don't sign up for that. I mean, and it's not right. I'm not saying that it's right, but like at no point does the club like stress, especially Laughing Skull. Like Laughing Skull doesn't even seem like the kind of place where physicality would take place. So they probably aren't even thinking any way, shape, form, or fashion about the comedian's safety. But it's like somebody does have to be held responsible. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's a hard one for me because honestly, I mean, shit, like you said, dude walked out of the club and hit somebody in that one example. And it's like, is the club still responsible for that? But it's, all I know is me personally, I know how to keep myself safe. I've got all kinds of stabby, slicey stuff on me at all times. So I'm responsible for my safety for the time being. I'm responsible for my safety. That's all I know about me. I can't even speak on everybody else. I just know I'm responsible for my safety.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you said that because then it brings up, it brings up like some things that I have like insecurities about. So after the Lauren thing happened, and so you and I talked about that before. I was upset about the whole situation with Lauren and T.I. Because of the amount of men that were in the room, and I felt like nobody was trying to protect her.
Right. You know that's why I was asking about you being a female, like who's going to protect you? You know what I mean?
And so, right. And if every comedian is thinking like Sonny, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, well, I know how to protect myself. Like, fuck Bella. Not saying you saying that, but you know what I'm saying? Like Bella, she going to have to learn how to protect herself. It's like, it makes me realize that in a situation, it don't matter how cool I am with somebody or how much people rock with me or whatever, if some shit go down, I know, you know what I'm saying,
Like
you know how they tell you in the mask. I mean, in the plane. Fix your mask first.
Yeah.
That's what they gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
did y'all see?
It made me realize this is a solo sport. Comedy is a solo sport.
I mean, honestly, because here's the crazy part about that. You can be out with people. I've seen it happen in the 15 years I've been here. It's a clique, it's a group. They all for one and one for all. And then somebody's over there getting stomped out, and the rest of the crew is just looking like, woo, damn, he getting his ass. And you like, wait a minute, ain't y'all his boys? Ain't you supposed to? So to me, I would rather know going into the game that I have to have my own back than to falsely think I have surrounded myself with people who got my back and they don't, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think I was aware of that very early in my career, in doing comedy, because I experienced something similar to that. Basically, I went to we all showed up to an open mic one night, right? And I was like the only female in the group. It was maybe 4 or 5 guys and then me. And I walked, and it was one of those places where you show up and go up, but you got to write your name on a list. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. And mind you, I didn't go alone. Everybody knew I was there. Matter of fact, I treated everybody to drinks that night. I left the table to go and get the, drinks for everybody, or order drinks for everybody. And meanwhile, the girl had came by with a sign up list. Right. Do you know that not one of those people was like, oh shit. Yeah, let me write Bella's name on the list. Or hold on, Bella coming. She over there getting our drinks or whatever. Or somebody was like, when the girl came back, or when I came back, they was like, oh, Bella, the list came around. You might want to go over there and write your name on the list. Do you think anybody said any of that?
Wow.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's being at the table at a restaurant and you go to the bathroom, nobody orders your sweet tea. You know what I'm saying?
Or nobody even tells the waitress to come back because somebody's in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I'm there like, but I'm literally, like buying y'all drinks. You know what I'm saying? You roll with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? So I realized that comedy is a solo sport a long time ago. And I realized these niggas is not your friends.
They are not your friends.
You know what I'm saying? Right. They are not your friends. At the end of the day, it is every man for themselves. And it's hard for me to look at things like that because I don't rock like that. If I rock with you, I rock with you. And I don't move like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if comedy just creates different type of people or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I don't know. So,
because
But anyway, that night I didn't go up.
Damn.
And more to the story.
I just had that same thing happen with a comedian who I took under my wing, and I drove him all the way down to a mic that was on the south side. Which, if you know anything about me in Atlanta, I hate driving to the south side.
I was like, you drove to the south side,
but it was to go to another comedian who was a mutual friend of ours night. I drove him to the liquor store and I drove him to the comedy, to the open mic night. And then I went outside. I didn't know that there was it was one of those places where it's not a list. You go and holler at the host and the host kind of just keeps you in their memory banks.
Yeah.
So I thought because I provided the ride, that he was going to tell the host that both of us were there. And that's not what happened. I waited the whole night. I watched him go up, and then I'm like, hey, so when do I go up? And the host was like, we didn't even know you was interested in going up. And I'm like, he didn't mention me? No. And I told him, he was like, fool, you was there. Why didn't you just put yourself on the list? My brain wanted to explode because I'm like, nigga, I gave you the ride to get here. You wouldn't even be performing if I didn't give you the ride. But I couldn't even be mad at him for that because I thought to myself, I said, you know what? That's my fault. You have to know who you dealing with. Like if me and Bella go out, I know Bella will put my name on the list. She knows I put her name on the list, but I can't make that same claim for everybody. So comedy is the Wild West. But there are a couple of outlaws who are on your side. Every Butch Cassidy has their Sundance kid, but it's Butch and Sundance versus everybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There ain't no Butch, Sundance, and no, it's Butch and Sundance, and then there's everybody else. Find your Sundance.
And that's why I realized I understand why it's the clicks. You know what I'm saying? Why it's needed to have a clique of comedians with you, or that at least y'all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
When you stay in the game long enough, watch how those cliques implode. Cliques always implode in artists. Since I've been around rappers, poets, and comedians, I've seen it happen in all three. It happened. Now, poets are the most mature. They know how to have a disagreement, break up, come back together. I've seen they have the most growth out of everybody. But musicians and comedians, groups always implode. It's always,
I think it's a cocaine.
That and there's always there's you say the cocaine, and there's always going to be the Michael. Somebody's going to be the Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
But everybody wants to be Michael, unfortunately.
David.
Oh, right, exactly. They come.
Everybody thinks that they're Michael. Nobody, wants to be Tito, and Tito's got a pretty important role.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine
had an important role at the time.
I mean, but there's always in every group there's always the Michael, but for every Michael there's somebody in the group that they're gonna down, even though it's like the Beatles. The running joke is that Ringo was the worst Beatle. Ringo, if you go back and actually study the Beatles, was very instrumental in a lot of their, the reason that the Beatles are big, but he's not Paul McCartney.
Ringo got the hoes. Ringo was getting the hoes.
So
I thought it was Yoko that broke up the group.
You know what? That's what they say. But they always gonna blame the woman.
So either way, though, it's all. But again, that group broke up because somebody found they mate. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody that changes, and cliques always break up. So then after that happens, it goes back to being every man for themselves. After your clique breaks up, you are now back at square one.